Let me see your hand. Are you still shaking? You like War Machine 5? You War Machine? That's a fun ride though, isn't it?
That's just fucking crazy.
That's awesome. Some key points when you're building a fast car. Start with a good platform. Start with the best car you can to begin with. Duh, no crap. Start with a car that isn't beat to hell unless you're completely gutting it, and that's just a whole other level of building a car. Start with something that runs good, ECU's good, and you know, it just needs minor things. You're going to be replacing a lot of stuff anyway, but the better condition the car is in to begin with, the easier the build will go. First place to start, the suspension. Tires, cannot overlook tires. Appropriate tires for what you're doing. The warmer climate, warmer season, summer performance tires, a must. Stay away from all seasons unless you live up north and you just have to run those. But run the summer performance tires in the warmer months. Suspension, shocks, struts, springs, those things are key also. Lowering the car, but be careful not to, if you lower a car, you change the geometry. You may have to, you know, add a bump steer kit, different ball joints on the front. So, you know, keep in mind everything you do affects something else. So brakes, do not forget about your brakes. Get the best brakes you can. If you can't afford, you know, Brembo 6-piston calipers or whatever, there's some good, you know, other aftermarket company, Bear, Willwood. I know they've been around forever. I don't know how good their brakes are, but they must be decent because they've been around forever. Stop techs are amazing. Again, this is if you're building a car to you know, go fast everywhere, straight line, corners, the whole nine. But if you can't afford calipers at all and you have decent hardware, you can make your brakes much better, much stronger by just changing the fluid, upgrade it to a .4. You just kind of drain the system. You don't have to do any kind of crazy flush when you do .4, like if you did a .5, which race brake fluid. .4 also, the boiling point of .4 is much higher than .3. You just get a good brand .4. Upgrade your lines, your brake lines to stainless braided lines. Replace the rotors, you know, maybe get slotted, drilled, something like that, and good pads. And that right there, it will really make whatever brakes you have a lot better, unless you just have the crappiest brakes known to man. But there's a way around spending a ton of money and still getting the job done. So after the suspension, you know, you go power adder. You go in, you know, after you're done with the suspension, you like the way the car handles, you like the way the car feels, then add the power. Don't add the power first. Don't be a jabroni. Put some brakes on it, put some suspension on it, then throw the supercharger or twin turbo on, or whatever you're gonna do. And when you do put the supercharger or whatever on, I was letting them go there. Yeah, you in a hurry, ain't you, honey, with your beat up? I see what happens with you. I see what happens when you see, you've had a few run-ins with that Nissan Murano, or whatever the hell that is, Nissan Road. But when you're doing the power adder, big thing is obviously install the damn thing right, make sure you got the right plugs, all that good stuff. But the biggest thing is data log. If you can't dyno tune it, or they put your car in a dyno and test it, get the tune exactly right, there are tuners out there that can remote tune your car in a way where you data log your car, you send them the information, and you keep doing that back and forth. They write you a new tune, you download it, do some more testing, send them those tests, and they can get your car dialed in really, really close. Well, with again, that depends on the car. Mustangs have wideband, so you can see everything you want to see. Knock sensor, the MAF, the whole. It's incredible how much information you can select and see on a data log with these Coyote Mustangs. Some of the other cars, some of the Camaros and stuff don't have that, but you can get an aftermarket kits that, you know, they're not that expensive, and they'll basically convert your information into widebands, and you have to have that if you're not doing a dyno tune. So dyno tune, you don't need that, but you know, dyno tunes are super expensive. They're probably the way to go. They're still, I'm not saying that email tunes are just as good, but I think, you know, with your right tuner, with me, BMP, Justin Starkey, YOLO douchebag, it's probably real close. I know some guys that have had email tunes and gone back and forth with BMP, and then had their car dyno tuned later, and the dyno tune, they didn't really have to change anything, maybe just like a hair, but it was nominal, because that's how good their tune was, just emailing back and forth, data logging and sharing the information. So 4-cylinder Mustang took me, God, that exhaust, my driver's side axle back, the Roush is going bye-bye. It's making a racket. I've never had an exhaust do that before, where it just crapped the bed, and I think the baffles are done for, but it's making a racket. So get everything in order, build your car from the ground up, don't go from the engine down. Be smart about it. You know, I want big power, everybody does. It's intoxicating, it's awesome, but it's not awesome having a wild, uncontrollable, you know, car, because you're overwhelmed the chassis and everything else with too much power. So do it smart, do it right, and thank you so much for watching, and please don't forget to hit like and subscribe, or shoot me the middle finger, whatever works for you. So, but I do appreciate you watching. Thanks.